Good evening, everybody. This is Beyond the Court, and it's episode number 27. Can't believe we're actually at episode number 27, Ellie. You know, there's a lot going on this weekend. There's some football action happening right now, so thank you for watching the both of them, or as many of our viewers do. I know you guys watch it the next morning, so you already know the results, which is cool, but we'll get to that. Ellie, tonight, episode 27, Beyond the Court. We have two guests. We had a surprise little quick guest, which is my older sister, who you know, and you've spent some time with too, Dr. Debbra Keegan, or MD, whatever she likes to be called. She's an infertility specialist. She's a rock star, quite honestly. So she's going to talk to us about something she has going on, which is all about health and fitness, and it's a fundraiser. And she asked if she could have a few minutes with us, and I said absolutely, because you and I and Scotty will certainly be taking part in this health and fitness fundraiser. And then, of course, everybody's favorite and one of our favorites, we finally got to him, the Viking, our buddy Jake Bredenbeck. Ellie, what do you think, buddy?
Well, it's a good show tonight. I was browsing through the information that Debbie is going to be talking about, and it's pretty interesting. So I think that's going to be kind of nice to hear something like this and have it be on our show here. It's nice to talk to your sister for a little bit. It's been 15, 20 years since I've really had a conversation with her, potentially that long, Suds, which is crazy. So that's fun. And then, we've been talking about having Jake for about a month and a half now, and really trying to find the right moment to bring him in. And you and I were going through a little stuff during the holidays there, and just trying to get right on our timing of it all. And we didn't want to have a half-assed show, a forced show. So we waited, and I think that was a good idea because we got Jake tonight, and I'm prepared for him. I've got some questions. You've seen him. So there's some fun stuff in there. And, hope Jake's in the middle of the woods, I'm sure. So he may go in and out a little bit, but we'll fill time if he's frozen for a second. He is in Minnesota. They freeze up there. It's freezing.
Yeah, Ellie, there's no doubt Jake is in the middle of the woods. He'll be going in and out. It's your questions, by the way, for the guests and the viewers that, watch, what you don't know is Ellie, every Sunday before the show, he sends Scotty and I a list of questions he has for guests. And to be quite honest, I read them 99% of the time, and sometimes I miss one or two. But today I read all those questions, Ellie, and I'm dead serious just because I know Jake so well. I'd have no problem with you just whipping out that list and just reading those questions because I love them all. So please make sure we get to them. I want to hear a lot of those answers. I love it. As far as my sister, man, be nice. She's the older, wiser, smarter one. She's prettier. She's much more educated. She's Cornell graduate, Duke graduate, went to school with Christian Leitner. Actually, didn't like him. You could ask her about that. I mean, she met him, I think, briefly. But, that's it. And we're going to talk about some cool things. So before we get to the guests, and please, everybody, share the feed. We know there's some playoff football on. I'm not going to lie. It's on in the background here in one of the TVs. But I'm not too interested. I saw... This is kind of the monologue. Today, Tom Brady, he won again, and he's going to another Super Bowl. It's inspiring and motivating. And if it's not, I don't know what you're watching. You don't have to like him. Really, you don't. You don't have to like him. But just look what he's done. He's 43, and it seems that that's what everybody's talking about and what's such a big deal. And the truth is, Ellie, I said that as the game was over. I said to Veronica, I go, babe, it's amazing. And she really likes him. I said, he's 43 and he did it again. And she's kind of walking by me as I said that. And she literally looked at me and goes, what does the age have to do with it? Like, what does that mean? Why is that a big deal? And, I kind of like hesitated for a second and I thought about what she said, and she's absolutely right. Why is that such a big deal? Tom Brady's a winner. He's a champion. He made a decision that he wants to maximize his physical and mental abilities for as long as he can. And he's doing everything he can to be in the best shape he can be in physically and mentally. And he's doing it. And if he can, you can, I can, we all really can do that, and it's just a decision. So it's up to you. It's up to us. Tom Brady, cheers to that, buddy. One day we might have one of the guys that blocked for you for 3 of those Super Bowl rings on here, who's a good friend who also plays racquetball. And, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. So with that, We're going to get to my sister here, who is, believe it or not, you tell me if she's younger or older, talking about age. And we'll get to her right after this quick, brief commercial. We'll be right back with my older sister. And I wore this shirt just for her, okay? And we'll talk to Dr. Debbra Keegan. See you in 30 seconds. All right, we're hot. We're back, Ellie. And, I wore this special shirt for my big sister right here. As you can all see, everybody sees it. And I believe it's true. I think my mother believes it's true. My siblings do, but it is what it is. Dr. Debbra Keegan. I like calling you that. That you're my big sister. We've been talking about this incredibly cool, fundraiser that you're part of here with the LIG. And we talked about bringing you on, and we thought it was super important, Ellie and Scott and I. So first off, hi, sis. What's going on? What are you doing here?
So I just want to tell you that your mother is here, and I made dinner for her. So she may pop in through this door here as I'm in my home office. But Ellie, Suds, thank you for having me. I've known John Ellis. I mean, he was a baby, and obviously Suds. I'm 4 years older than you now. Oh, there she is.
Hi there.
You're live. Oh,
there she is.
So anyway, he's her favorite. So you guys brought me on because one of the things that my brother and I have in common, actually, while he's like a world-class athlete, I try to keep up with a little bit of working out and balance. I'm sorry. And I'm also like a, gynecologist. I am an infertility specialist, but one of the things I've done all these years to stay sort of relevant and active outside of IVF is being part of Life is Great Global Foundation, right? So that is, oh my God, this guy, sorry. So that is a international global foundation. Ellie, you never met Tommy, but that seeks to provide education, resources, information in communities around the world that do not have the access to healthcare like we do. So what we usually do is mission work, right? We go to these places, Peru, the Philippines, Dominican Republic, Africa, Honduras, Appalachia, and we are able to educate their providers, things like cervical cancer prevention, prevention of heart disease, and also teach the physicians and, the ancillary health practitioners how to screen for these things and treat them. But because of COVID, we've not been able to be on the ground. So 2020 was a frustrating year for all of us involved in this foundation. And so, now with the advent of the vaccine and coming back, and, as a matter of fact, I got my second dose today. Yay. We're going to come back in 2021 and try to get out there more than ever before. So we had to kick it off with some sort of fundraiser, right? Because we're a 501c3. We don't, the money we get is from all of our donors. And because we're so committed to health and exercise and, wellness, those things that really, give people an advantage over things like COVID, disease, and, any genetics that are going to sort of put them on the path, towards disease or, poor health outcomes. We know that the only time exercise is bad is if you go too far and you injure yourself, right? But otherwise, there's no study out there that will tell you that exercise is bad for you. So what LIG did to try to bring people back and, get them involved again is our fundraiser now called Mission to Move. And I invited Sudsy and Ellie and your community because you guys are like, you're beasts, right? My brother, who is I guess he's 46 if I'm 50, 46 years old, the shape he's in, best of his life, what he does, what I see him do. I know that, physical fitness and exercise is as important to you guys as it is to me and all these people. So we are inviting you to join this fundraiser called Mission to Move for Life is Great Global Foundation. And you guys have the link and all of that. From, I want to say, February 1st to March 2nd, 30 days of logging your activity, and the best team wins. And, we're going to raise some money. We're going to invite you guys to our missions. We don't need just medical people for our missions. This one back here has been on the missions, although she's medical. My husband, who's a tech person and a teacher, has been on those missions. But it's a really great way to get involved. Go global in things that you believe in and things that make you feel good. And I just want to sort of embrace this international community with my brother sitting there in Ecuador and Ellie out on the West Coast and me out here on the East Coast, and say let's do this for global health. That's why I'm here.
I looked at it. I took a look at the link, Debbie, and kind of got the feel for it in just a couple of minutes, and got a little excited. I had a feeling you were going to say, well, you're going to do this, Ellie, and so Sudsy, and we're going to have a team. Like, I saw that coming. And to be honest with you, you might not know about this, but what really started our show was the stay-at-home challenges or stay-at-home battles that Sudsy put together. And this feels a little bit like that, but for a much greater, much huger cause, obviously. I've got ties. My family, my aunt, my mom's sister traveled to Peru probably over 20, 30 times. She's a nurse in San Francisco for her career. She's retired now, but she traveled doing the same thing that you were mentioning early on in these countries that are underprivileged. So, my ties to that and knowing somebody who was doing that for years and years and developed great relationships in Peru specifically. So that's, kind of exciting to be a part of this. And I really hope that our viewers and everyone in racquetball, even if they don't watch, but they hear about this, think about getting a team together and really trying to make this happen and putting some money into this great cause. So this is fun, Debbie. Thank you for bringing this to our attention.
So
awesome.
wait, so tell everybody about our team. Tell them what you set up as far as the racquetball team.
So we created a team for you guys. So originally I was going to have you all on my team. But
you would do well. You would do well with all of us, by the way.
Guess you don't want to win.
I need a little more training, but so we created a team for you guys. It's We Are Racquetball. I think you guys will get the link at the end. The initial donation is $30. Anything after that, to get in and get on Sudsy and Ellie's team, We Are Racquetball. And then Kilter Rewards is the, you download that app, and that's what's going to track all of the activity. And then at the end, there's going to be a winner, but the winner is going to be like the organization. We're aiming to raise $15,000. And what we want to do with that is get back out there. I mean, I've delivered babies, I've done surgery, I've helped screen for cancer, and all the people that help us do that. We just got to get started again, because 2020, it kind of did a little damage to things like this. But we also recognize the importance of getting people that want to be involved, moving themselves, because I think the other thing that if you look around, right, what is exploding around us, right? Home, working out at home and getting healthy, because everybody says you're going to beat something, something's going to happen to you and it's in your genes, then so be it. But the people that are going to beat it, the people that are going to, be healthier through it, right, are those that are taking control ahead of time, right? Weight and, sugar control, diet, all those things are so important. We know that your genes are your genes, but you can modify the path. And so we are so, and me personally, I'm a fertility doctor, but I talk to every single one of my patients about what they eat, how they exercise, how important that is. And so as a foundation and a global foundation, we recognize the importance of that worldwide, because there are certain groups that have a predisposition to things like diabetes, and you can temper the severity of that by how much you exercise, what you eat. So that's what we want to do, and we want to bring you guys, because you guys are pinnacle of health. I mean, you're all bastards. Look at you.
So so our team, we are racquetball. Everybody watching, anybody that's involved, they can sign up. Scotty's going to put the link to sign up. It's a $30 donation. You're basically going to log your exercise daily, whatever you do. I know, like today, Veronica and I worked out for a couple hours. Ellie, I don't know if you know this, big sis. So she is my big sister. Everybody wants to know, they're asking online, who's the older one? But big sister means usually older. So Ellie has a bunch of junior kids. He's got 30, 40, 50 juniors. Could they log in sometime too? Can kids?
100%. Everybody, my kids are doing it. Your kids should do it. Yes. So anybody that can exercise can participate. There's no cutoff. We want everybody
Awesome.
Involved. We are truly global, wrapping our arms around everyone.
Where's your next mission? What's the plan? Where are you going next to, make babies, save babies, help people?
So, and it's not just that, right? So that's what I do, and that's my specialty, and that's what I contribute. But we do have a team of cardiologists. We have, cardiothoracic surgeons. We have gastrointestinal specialists, general surgeons. So we do a lot. So I think if we get a little bit back to normal, we might be in Appalachia this summer. And then probably next on the itinerary would be Peru and possibly the Dominican Republic.
How about Ecuador? Ellie, what's up with that? Ellie, I'm gonna let you finish this before we get to Jake, because I know we have a quick time slot here for Big Sis, but do you have any more questions before we're going to put up all the links and everything, but
yeah, I mean, I think that part of it's, was well described. And I think that'll build steam here in the next 6 days before it begins. It's the 24th today. We've got some time to build this donations and get some teammates going here. So that sounds like fun. I'm kind of curious, it's been over a year since you've been on these trips, obviously with 2020 going by the wayside like it has. But, when you're there, Debbie, is it, how stressful? Talk a little bit about the stress levels that you're under when you're there, because you're doing such difficult work, obviously, and you're working with people who are underprivileged. That's why you're there helping them. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, and you think about where you're coming from and how privileged you are yourself, right? The education I have and this house around me and everything. So my first trip couldn't believe it. I'm used to operating in a hospital, right? And I'm used to, calling for equipment and sutures and whatever's there, whatever I need is there. And the first trip was very humbling. If you remember the TV show, and now we definitely are going to age ourselves, but MASH, right? 407 7th, and they're operating in tents.
Right.
And I was in a place where there were 3 beds in a row where 3 different surgical teams were operating at the same time. And usually we send whatever we take out of, whatever we do surgically goes to pathology. It went in a jar and it went home with people, right? Then there was no nursing post-operatively. The families convalesced their own family members in hallways and rooms. So I gotta tell you, Ellie, it was life-changing. That to me, on the other side of the world and seeing how people live and the little bit that they have compared to what we have really drove me to continue to do this for the next 7 years, and what I will continue to do. And the one of the founders of LIG Global, Dr. Ernani Satterall, I mean, he's basically taught me that the most you can do is give of yourself, give back, help others, because we truly are. I mean, it's global, right? That life is great global foundation. So we can make it great for other people by getting in there and helping. And I hope you guys meet him one day. You should have him on the show. Because you'll follow him into the fire, which is basically, what I did. Because, I'm a little bit princessy, and I wasn't really ready to go into the, the woods and operate in tents, but that was what happened. And it was great. So it is a life-changing experience to help others, to see others through. I would invite you all to get involved, because we do take, people with us on these trips that are non-medical. My own husband, who's a teacher and he's a tech guy, he comes and he helps. So
Right.
You know, and juniors, we have a LIG youth network. So there's tons of ways to get involved. Scotty will send like all the info, the website, Kilter to get involved. But I feel like I just want to, you know, ask you guys to be part of this. You know, my brother lives in Ecuador. You know, cervical cancer, it's one of the leading causes of death in women in South America. We're there. We want to expand that, not from just Peru, but definitely into Ecuador and beyond. So, you know, that's what we're looking at. So we can sort of level the playing field, at least where healthcare is concerned.
Well, what a great cause, you know, and it's great to hear about this. And, you know, to be honest with you, we have some time here, obviously, for people to get in and then to follow the progress and have some fun with it in terms of the people who are being active, working out, logging their workouts, getting involved. And we'll have some fun with that over the next 4 weeks here on the show. So sounds great. It's great to see you.
And then we should like do a wrap up visit and we'll come back and we'll see like who won, you guys, my team, you know, whatever.
Time out. I'm just for the record, I'm telling all the racquetball world, and I see some people already saying that they're going to be part of this. So we better win racquetball world because this isn't difficult. It's $30. It's a donation. You get in, you're doing something great. You're inspiring, you're motivating, you're helping people around the world, and you're just working out, doing what we do every day. So if you're on the racquetball court or you're in your home gym, you know, I just want to thank my big sister, Dr. Debbra Keegan. And, you know, Deb, I love you so much. You're smarter, you're prettier, you're wiser, and you know, we really, Ellie and I and Scotty Mack and everybody around the world definitely thanks you for being here. And we will stay on top of this, and we will have you back because I know Ellie wants to have you back. So
absolutely,
you know,
this is fun.
It's going to happen, and we're going to get to that. So you can sign off, go have fun with Mom, but don't forget, I have the shirt, okay? And we will talk to you soon. But before we go, I'm just going to tell everybody, Scotty Mack's going to show a quick little commercial about our next guest. And he's also going to put up all the links to your amazing foundation, and we will talk soon, okay?
Thanks so much, guys. I love you. You both inspire me every day. Mwah. Thank you.
Nice to see you. Great to see you.
See you later. We'll be right back with Jake. Check this out, though, everybody. Watch this little video.
All right.
Let's do a little interview with Jake Bredenbeck.
Yeah, but Jake.
All right.
Interview with
So,
Bredenbeck.
I know, Jake, you don't like to get your face on camera. If you want us to do it from the back, we can.
Yeah.
Here, come on over here, Charlie. He's a little embarrassed, a little shy. So, Jake, what do you like to eat for breakfast?
Oh, well, you know, I Bredenbeck usually like to have about a dozen eggs and like some live rabbits. Usually some live rabbits are pretty good. Sometimes some live squirrels, but anything alive is usually pretty good.
Yeah, makes sense. You look like the kind of guy that like that. Well, tell me about this. What's your favorite part about traveling south of the border, Jake?
Oh, you know, I'd have to say the bowel movement would probably be my favorite part. Probably my favorite part is it's the 10 times on the toilet per day, and the food really does it for me, you know. Yeah, that'd probably be my favorite part, the bowel movements.
You impressed me so much just with your
It's a good answer.
with your speaking skills.
Yeah.
Not even be able to move your mouth. What is your dream job, JB?
Oh, well, you know, if I could just like throw people around all day long, that'd be great. If I could just pick people up and toss them across the room and get paid for it, that'd be great. Usually smaller, more innocent people would be nice. Maybe a child or a woman every once in a while. But anything involving throwing things.
Makes sense totally.
Yeah, I mean, if I was that big, I'd probably do it too.
With that being the case, what does your dream wife look like?
Oh, well, let me tell you now. My future Mrs. Bredenbeck is going to be about 6'4" and about 212 pounds. A solid muscle, and you know, we're gonna wake up every morning. We're gonna cuddle. and then we're gonna trim our beards together. That would be the future Mrs. Bredenbeck.
Seems like a keeper. If you could, last one, Jake. If you could be a wild animal, what would you be?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because I'm actually already a wild animal. I'm a big beast, Bredenbeck. Big old bear, Bredenbeck. But I'd probably be some kind of mythical creature like a big Bigfoot or something. Some kind of grizzly bear or some mixture between a buffalo and a grizzly bear. That's a good answer. It's a good answer.
Hey, Jake, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah.
And hope you guys got to know Jake a little bit better.
Nah, no problem, guys. Big Bredenbeck.
All right, we are back. That was fun having my big sister on, and we're going to take a completely different path here now. And we finally have, our buddy. Everybody loves him. If you don't love him, you don't know him. We have Jake the Beast Bredenbeck. Now, Jake, before I let you say a word, we did kind of warn everybody that you might go in and out a little bit with the Wi-Fi. They did just watch the video of you, Charlie, and Rocky in Lima, Peru at the Pan Am Games. I mean, what do you have to say for yourself on that
one? Not much.
It's gonna be so fun. Oh, you're back. Okay, you froze for a second there, Jake. But
great.
No, it's okay. Let's just keep plug. We're gonna plug away. That's gonna be the theme of this one today because we might have some moments here and there. But we'll just plug through it. We'll have some good times with it.
Country Wi-Fi.
I know I have my 13-year-old daughter as my waitress to bring me drinks as needed as I get through them here. Not as stiff as what you guys are drinking, but talk a little bit about that moment in Peru. It was 2019, I believe, the Pan American Games. It was a tough one because my dad, that was his final coaching duties there, I believe. Yeah. And it was obviously, it means so much to be at the Pan Am Games and a part of it, and that overrides everything. But that was a difficult trip for a couple of reasons. Talk a little bit about your experience.
Yeah, it's tough being that is the Pan Am Games, which is kind of our pinnacle for international play. So, you always want it to be a great event. Toronto in 2015, I was, fortunate enough to be on that team. That was a complete opposite. That was a great all-around event. Peru is, it's always awesome being on the team, playing for your country, et cetera. That is no question. But as far as the difficulties of the event itself, I think the shortest bus ride we had was maybe 45 minutes. And then if you're going home during rush hour, it was 2 to 2.5 hours sometimes. No heat in the rooms, and it was pretty cold. It rained every single day. But, I got to play for USA. So it's as much as you want it to be a great event, and, as much as it was unfortunate that, the stuff around the event sucked, it's still awesome to get to play for USA and be a part of that. So it's kind of the way it goes. But yeah, the video you guys showed and are talking about was one of the highlights for sure. I was just sitting on the bus, kind of listening to music, had one headphone in, and I think Rocky was like, "Hey, just play along with this." And I was like, "All right, whatever." I didn't know what was coming. And it just started off, and I started laughing. I couldn't help it. It was it was fun.
You're certainly not used to somebody that's, used to getting bullied or picked on, but, Rocky and Charlie kind of pushed you around on that bus ride a little bit.
That one, they did. It's fun because you get in the rooms and it's everyone's, talking and doing stuff. So it's a good time.
Jake, let me ask you something. We're all so close offline, and we're such good friends, and we just competed against each other. And I sent you a picture earlier of a photo of you and I from like 20 years ago that just popped up on the memories. But I don't think I've ever asked you this, and I really want to know. Anybody that knows you knows, you love the country. Obviously, look at the flags, look at the Beast-made clothing apparel you're wearing right there. If you could only pick and play either the Pro Tour or play for the U.S. team, which one would you prefer and why? Sorry about that, buddy. I'm looking at
Dude,
all the
that's
stuff
tough.
behind you. And
Yeah, no. That's tough just because, I mean, Team USA only happens twice a year if we're lucky, and IRT, assuming the full schedule is 10 to 12 events. Um, and there's no real money in either, but man, I don't know. That's tough. If it's one or the other for the rest of my life, for right now, I'd probably just go USA events. I mean,
Wow.
whatever.
I thought you were about to say I thought you were going the other direction there because of for the rest of your life. And this is the tour. This is my job. I can play, we're watching Brady play at 43. You're in great shape. You're a strong dude. You can play for a long time.
I beat up my body a lot though. So I don't play like, Rocky can play at 42 and Alvaro, they play a little more smooth than I do. So
yeah,
their bodies can handle the longevity.
Let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, we're already halfway through my questions. We're skipping over the first couple of ones, but we'll get back to those. But talk about, just that you hit the ball so damn hard, right? I mean, you're kind of a throwback to our era and guys that Sudsy and I were watching play as we were young juniors coming up going, we're going to, and then the rackets got big for us. We're going to hit the ball hard. We're starting to hit the ball harder and harder as we get to 16, 17, 18. And you're that guy, you drop bombs, photons. And so, your body's obviously taken a lot of that, a lot of punishment there, but you've had it bad enough to where you've had shoulder issues to the point where you've literally qualified for the US team playing left-handed. And I know about this and I recall that. So, talk a little bit first about, what injuries you've had, what you've been through, what it's like being a professional racquetball player on the body, on your body and specifically. And then that moment where you found yourself literally playing a national event left-handed.
Yeah. Luckily I haven't had a ton of injuries. I mean, when people ask me, I always tell them I don't think any pro athlete's truly 100%, at least in racquetball, contact sports, stuff like that, where you're continually abusing your body. You're 100% of what you are at that time. Like that's, there's always something. But I had a, minor meniscus in my right knee that's cleaned up, and then the torn labrum in my right shoulder, a few, other issues here and there, but yeah, I don't know. It's definitely hard on the body the way I play and swinging hard, etc. And it's not always, my intention to go out there and do that. It becomes default at sometimes,
Sure,
and then
sure.
also, the movements and stuff, like not making excuses. I'm 6'2", 210 to 15 pounds. And
Right.
That movement is not, that cutting, etc., is not easy on the body. Diving, etc. I mean, I talk to Murray all the time about it because he's, about same height and weight, and he dives more than I do, and it's not easy on the body. But we love to play the game, and it's hard to adjust and play a different type of style. It takes a ton of practice and control and working on it, but when you get into certain moments, you don't think, you just go to default of what and that's what I know. It's what I grew up doing, and so that's kind of how it is. And then as far as playing left-handed, that was just, we kind of, my dad played with his buddies left-handed once a year. They had a little tournament thing, and so we would play like once in a while left-handed, messing around. And then when the shoulder happened, I was like, well, I don't want to not play. So I started practicing, and I'm like, it's not perfect by any means, but I can still get out there and play. So I think I played with Anthony that year in doubles. Luckily he was like, yeah, I'm down, whatever. Like, and I kind of like, we got down quite a bit, and I think I switched to my right for a little bit, which obviously is not the brightest idea, but I don't like losing. So, tried that. Played a couple pro events lefty, and I did pretty well for what it is. And I qualified from I don't remember what it was, the previous doubles or singles. And I was kind of on the edge of like being ready to go. And your dad was like, hey, like if you want this, if you think you're ready, you can, you have a spot on the team for, it was a Pan Am Championships in Costa Rica. And I went, and luckily the right arm was ready, and Bobby and I got second in doubles there. So
I believe you started, if I remember correctly, because obviously I'm following what my dad's doing and the team that he has at these events, and I think you might have even started that event a little bit left-handed, and then felt strong enough and confident enough to roll over and start swinging with the right and finish it off with the right. But just, I mean, our listeners got to understand that you decided to go play these events left-handed because not only did you feel you were good enough and ready, but you believed in your abilities and your partner was cool with it. So that's
yeah.
amazing right there. That should not be like
It's
downplayed
because
at
he's
all.
a beast. It's because he's an animal and he just wants to play, and like that's his wiring, and he touched on it. We talk about athletes, and Jake, you touched on it. You said, something I say all the time is that elite and professional athletes are never 100% 100% of the time. It's just impossible. We play a high impact sport. Jake, you kick your ass on the court and off the court. Did you ever think about maybe just changing direction a little bit? And I know you touched on the wiring of it, because I get it. We're all wired a certain way, 100%. But then there's also, when you learn how to rewire a little bit. Did you see Tom Brady win today at 43 again? There's a reason for that. Did you ever think about like kind of switching it up and not just trying to chop down trees and rip down buildings, or are we staying the course?
I mean, like playing left-handed, you have to think a lot more. You can't rely on, like when I'm playing righty, I can be like, oh, there's a ceiling ball, I'm going to try and splat it from 39 feet overhead. Playing lefty, I can't do that. I have to be smarter, with the shot selection, etc. So when I came back from that, I was actually playing some of the best I played in my life, just because I think my brain was still like, okay, this is how you have to play. And I didn't trust my shoulder completely. And then, since then, I try to make adjustments. I try to lob serve more, work on lob serves or Z serve more, like in Atlanta. And part of that is the front wall is not great for just hitting bombs and balls.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But I knew that. So going in, I knew I wasn't going to be hitting my bomb drive serves all day. So I had to make the adjustment to that, kind of slap shuffle drive serve, or I knew I was going to Z more or lob more. So, it's in there, and it's a work in progress, but it takes time to go from, natural reaction and just what's hardwired to making that complete. And it's not like it's making minor adjustments. It's making a big change to go from, okay, I'm swinging 150% all the time to, let's swing 80%, 50% of the time. Like it takes a lot to adjust to that.
Jake, I totally understand. I respect that, love that. Ellie, and just for you and all the viewers, what Jake's talking about in Atlanta, and Jake, I think you remember, I didn't drive serve at all in doubles. I think, 3 matches on the main court, and I didn't drive serve because of that. So the front wall in Atlanta, Ellie, it was kind of like remember Chicago, the old school Negretti Club, where it was just a little bit messed up.
Schaumburg.
And what happens is usually when you want to hit where your drive serve would hit the front wall, the ball would either go straight down or straight up. And it was just bizarre. So, if you wanted to hit it a little bit higher, it was probably going to come off the back wall. It certainly affected Alex a little bit. I know it messed with Jake a little bit. I didn't drive serve at all because of that. That was one of the reasons. And, that's what Jake is talking about. But Jake, yeah, I get the hardwiring and all that stuff. And Ellie, Jake, I don't know if you heard me in the beginning. Ellie has a list of questions. I would love him to just start reading them from top to bottom. They're so good.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be doing that for sure. But one last note on that, going through a torn labrum is a serious injury, and especially for a racquetball player, but for a lot of sports. And there's a long road back on that. Did you have a surgery for that, an actual surgery, or did you recover with therapy?
No, I did. I just did a PT and took a couple months off of, swinging with the right. And I got lucky enough. It wasn't a complete tear where they were like, okay, we have to go in. And but yeah, when I went in, I told them I want to avoid surgery at all costs because, the shoulder's just, I mean, the shoulder's
Yeah.
not a good place to go in and be cutting and putting pins and stuff. It doesn't work out very often. So I didn't want to do that. I may pay for it down the road, but that was the choice I made at the time so I could play more racquetball.
I think it's the right choice. As someone
It's
who's
a
had the
good choice.
surgery,
I have the exact same thing. I have the
I-
exact same thing.
I've had the surgery twice, and it's really hard to recover from it. Once you start getting staples put in, and they're scraping things out there, it's just a difficult recovery. And it's, to be quite honest, it kind of stopped me from playing racquetball as I used to. But Jake, you were touching on it a little bit. You start to, when you using your left or you don't have your right the same, and you start dinking a little bit more, and you're relying on ceiling balls a little bit more. As you are getting a little older now, I think you're in your 30s now, right? Are we right there?
29.
29, about to hit
29.
30. You're getting to that peak age right now with the mind and the body. What do you do in practice to try to come off of that just absolutely crazy power that you have to try to access these other tools that you could present as you go forward here in the next bunch of years of your career?
Well, one thing I've actually been thinking about lately is actually just hitting for 10 minutes every time I go left-handed. One, to just kind of keep the body rotation because we constantly are rotating the same way, swinging. Same with golfers, that type of thing. So swinging lefty will kind of balance that out, but then also make me think a little bit more. But also, right now when I go to hit, I really try to not overswing. I'll catch myself doing it sometimes. Ball starts coming off the back wall a lot more. I really try to catch myself and just take a little bit off. Not patty cake it or anything, but just be more controlled with that power and know that hitting my 80% with a better angle is, you know, plenty effective.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's, you're fun to watch right now with the bombs and everything. But if you start adding those pieces to the game and getting precision down, not off the back wall, man, you're a threat to win any tournament that's there. You're already that anyways, but then you're even more of a threat. So, I wish you the best on that because it's not easy to come off what's, pretty much there for you at your default, as you were saying, at all times. It's there because you started at a young age. Let's go back and talk from the beginning a little bit. I believe your parents owned a racquetball club at some point, right? Am I right
Yeah,
there? And so tell us a little bit about that, how you got into racquetball with the family and everything.
Yeah, so both of my parents played when Sam and I were growing up. They actually always loved to tell the story of they would bring me in like my baby seat, whatever, and when I was tiny and set me outside the court and they'd play.
You never had a baby seat.
No.
It was it was like a wagon that they
It was like a man
bring in
baby seat.
bears.
It was a
Yeah.
man baby seat.
The little red
was-
wagon that they'd pull me in.
You were like 6 months and they're using those big red wagons.
With an igloo on top because it's freezing there.
Yeah. So yeah, they both played. Both were good players. Mom stopped because of arm injuries, kind of like more elbow stuff. But she was an open player up here, and Dad was a high open player up here. So yeah, they both played, and they started running pretty much all racquetball club. We had volleyball and some free weights and stuff, but pretty much all racquetball club. So I think you both been there actually.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, and ran it for 17 years and just kind of,
Scotty, Scotty, if you have that picture, try to throw it up there. That'd be pretty cool. Jake, I sent him that picture of you and I today.
Mhm.
So if he has it, maybe he can throw it up on the live. That'd be cool. Oh, it's up. There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, it was awesome place to grow up. I mean, obviously I wish we still had it, especially nowadays, just with there being hardly any private clubs left.
Right.
And it was an awesome club. There was 8 courts, all concrete, and it had the 8th court was a pretty good show court. I mean, glass back wall, as you saw in the picture there, but it had stadium seating and everything. But yeah, it was so racquetball has been what I've done since the beginning, really.
When did you know, that this was something that you wanted to pursue to make a living here? Because I know you went to college. I believe you were in Pueblo, Colorado, correct?
Yep.
Which
Yep.
is where my mom grew up, so I know the city very well. Spent my childhood going there quite often. Interesting city to travel to.
That's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
yeah. It's not the most exciting. Not the most exciting. There's no doubt about that. I got a
Yeah.
ton of family there, but you went to Pueblo. You got your degree, but when did you know that this is what you wanted to do for a living?
Uh, I don't even consider it a living. I mean, one, because of the money, but two, also like I'm playing a sport, like it's pretty awesome to be able to do that. So I don't know. It's always been, like I said, I've done racquetball since the beginning. So I haven't really, I mean, I played other sports. I'm interested in cars. I'm interested in other things, right? But like it was just like racquetball was kind of it. And I'd say like 12 to 13,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like stopped playing, not stop, but like I didn't care from, I'd say like 10 to 12 ish, somewhere in there. And then like 12 to 13, I kind of like started
Were you playing
carrying
something
again.
else? Were you doing something else from 10 to 12?
Yeah, I was in soccer, baseball, stuff like that. But I kind of got burned out, honestly, in a way. I mean, I know it's weird to say when you're that young, but I
No,
started when I was,
we
before I was
understand.
5.
We
We
understand.
get that.
So yeah, I just didn't care so much about ragdoll, and then I started caring again, and that's when I was like, all right, I kind of want to do this. I knew I wanted to go to college just to, in a way, have something to fall back on. But it was kind of around that time where I really started to like, I like, racquetball again, and I want to see what I can do, and since then it's kind of been
I think you would
part
find
of
that
the
that's
goal.
that's a consistent age for a lot of professional players, both men and women, that that 12, 13 range, you start seeing the idea of it because you start realizing there's professionals out there that are trying to make a living doing this, and it gets really exciting, the concept of playing a sport, in entertaining people and playing in front of people and traveling for that. So
Yep.
you mentioned something there. You said you're not sure if you consider this making a living, per se. So I think the people would be interested, so how do you supplement making a living as a racquetball player when, let's be quite honest, if you're not one or two, it's really difficult to get the prize money that matters. It's difficult to get money from sponsors that make a difference in your day-to-day life back at home. So what else do you do?
Yeah. So my dad and I do carpentry. Like we framed a basement in December. We have we're taking a wall out and putting, making it more open coming up,
Mm-hmm.
but stuff like that, finish work, trimming out windows, doors, putting windows, doors in. Like I like building decks, stuff like that. So we do all kinds of stuff like that. But that's kind of part time. He's semi-retired, and I travel a lot, so it's just kind of we do it while I'm home, and he's awesome about okay, we got this job, so let's knock it out, and then you travel for 2 weeks, and so that's cool. And then Sam and I do the clothing business. Sam has Forza Performance, which that's his thing, but I try and help him on the back end when I can. But yeah, we have Beast Made Clothing, which we're continually trying to grow and learn and do things with. It's a huge learning process, and it's a pain, but we love it at the same time. And yeah, that's kind of what I do. So it's business. It's the clothing, carpentry, and racquetball.
Jake, with Beast Made, with BMC, I love it. I wear it all the time, and my guy Momo is always like, "Why do you gotta wear Jake stuff when you're on TV? When you're on a show, I'm like, because I love Jake and I love his gear. So and we are racquetball. So something really cool that I love that you did. And last year it was Alex's lemonade stand, right? You were
Yep.
giving a portion of the proceeds to that, and then this year you're doing something else. Tell us, and tell everybody a little bit about that, like how Beastmade got involved, or why you and Sam chose to give back to these different organizations.
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. I mean, Beast Made to us is just being the best you can be for you, right? Like being the best version of yourself, always trying to be better in a sense. I mean, again, we all have off days, whatever, but just continually trying to push to be better. And you know, it's just it's also giving back or making other people's lives better. Like with Beastmade, we don't want it. It's not just clothing to us. Like there's a message behind it. There's a community behind it in a way. And so it's not about us. It's about, like, Alex's lemonade stand was, you know, they do children's cancer and research and helping kids and their families, you know, get to where they need to be, etc. And so that was, you know, we try and pick organizations that essentially do good in the world. And this year is Operation Underground Railroad, and they help with, you know, human trafficking, sex slavery, their main one is child trafficking, child sex slavery, and they help all around the world with trying to stop that. Obviously, that's a huge issue. It's actually the second most profitable illegal business in the world, which is kind of sucks. But
Sucks a
you
lot.
know, they're doing their part, and we want to do something. You know, we're not, you know, a multi-million-dollar company, but we want to do what we can. So it's we donate $1 for every transaction that we do for the whole year. And then unfortunately, January is the awareness month, and we don't have a shirt out right now, but we'll be coming out with, you know, a shirt, or, you know, a combined logo that when we do that, all of the profits from that item go to that organization.
That's very cool.
Just
Yeah.
Ellie, I'm sorry. I have to
ahead.
throw this in. So Arthur Schmeiser, who many of us know in the racquetball community, he works in Arizona, and he says, great organization, Jake. He's been working with them for several years. He's in law enforcement, and I think he's actually assigned to human trafficking right now. So, you know, you guys picked a good one. Ellie, go ahead. And Ellie, at some point, I'm going to tell you, take the lead, because I want you to get through those questions. And maybe if we just fire them at Jake and just let him answer, because it was a good list.
Yeah, I hear. You know, I'm kind of curious with the Beastmade clothing. You know, are you in other sports besides racquetball? Obviously, the world of racquetball, the diehards know about this now, and hopefully you know, they're purchasing, you know, on a consistent basis. I know some of the Californian crew have I've seen some Beastmade clothing at some of our events prior to COVID. But you know, what other sports are you in?
We're not in any right now. That's one thing I went through this week, was a list of people outside of racquetball that I'm want to contact, etc. Sam and I were just talking in Atlanta about getting into pickleball, because obviously everyone knows that's huge and growing. But it's getting there. It's having capital to get there,
Sure.
you know, et cetera, and it's him and I doing it right now. So we, you know, there's no excuse. It's just, that's what it is. It's him and I, and there's limited money, so we do what we can right now. But yeah, obviously and that was never our goal, to stay in racquetball. That's just a place to start, because we're both involved, and, you know, people know us, and we have the relationships already. But the goal is definitely to branch out.
Well, we wish you the best on that, because the clothing, you know, is nice quality that you have going on. That hoodie, like Sudsy mentioned earlier, that's really nice right there. I really like that. Might have
Thank
to
you.
take a look at purchasing that, because that's something I would definitely wear, and I'm all about the hoodies. So, you know, we wish you the best with that. It takes a lot to
Thanks.
put yourself on the line in that type of business while you're also trying to win racquetball matches. You know, you're mentioning Sam, your younger brother, and I got to tell you a true story. At Junior Nationals in Lansing, Michigan, one year, I was sitting by the pool chatting with your dad. I was chaperoning Diaz and Pimentelli. World-class chaperone I am. Let me tell you about that. But
Ellie chaperoning is scary.
Yeah,
that
I
was
was gonna
perfect.
say,
Hey.
I'm not sure about that.
Devin's dad and mom were all for it. Just, yep, they'd put a little money in my pocket and go ahead, take our daughter and make sure she gets back. And hopefully she wins the tournament too. And we do all we can. But, you know, Diaz, as you know, is my boy, and we'll get to him in a little bit. He's kind of pissed that he's not coming on as a guest tonight. I'm like, nah. Maybe we'll get Sam on or something. Sam
You could
Murray.
have snuck him on.
Sam
You could have
Bredenbeck.
snuck him on.
Nah, we said nah. Said nah on that one, you know.
Nah. It
You'll
was
have
a
your
nah.
moment. Nah, not this one. But you and your brother, are coming up, and I'm talking to your dad, and you had played Jose Rojas, I think, in the semis of that tournament in Lansing, and I hadn't really followed you closely at that point, but then that match was a tough match. Jose was struggling with you big time that match, and it kind of caught me off guard, and I was just, kind of in tune with your game that day, and just go, man, this guy's got really real potential. And I'm talking to your dad by the pool, and he goes, you think Jake has potential? I think it's going to be Sam. And so you can go back to your dad and ask him about that. But he was saying, well, don't worry about Jake. Jake's good, but wait till you get a load of Sam coming up. What kind of competitive vibe?
Disagree.
Yeah, your brother's done well, but as it is right now, you've done some serious stuff in the sport of racquetball. So, talk a little bit about the competitive vibes with your brother, and then also obviously the love and the connection that you guys have as racquetball brothers in the sport and helping each other become better.
Yeah. We're very competitive. Just not just us, our whole family. We hate losing. It's competition for anything. Doesn't matter what it is, which is fun. We love it. But yeah, as far as like Sam and I, it's even worse. It's we were playing, the board game Life.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
been around for a while.
Or whatever. Yeah. So we
know about it. You?
We were playing that a couple years ago with Lexi, and I don't remember what happened, but Sam and I got pissed at each other and didn't talk for like an hour or two. And that's just the way it is, like with everything.
Do you guys have an axe fight or anything?
No. Yeah, we went outside to see who could.
Oh no, don't go down.
No, Jake, where are you? No, we can't lose it here.
No, he'll be right back. There we go. We got her back.
We got you, Jake. We got you. Go.
All right. Yeah. So it's always competitive. We don't get to play a ton right now because he's in Oregon. But when we do play, it's. I think we played. I know we played once in the tournament, which was national doubles in the single event, 2019. And I beat him in breaker, but it's kind of weird doing that because we play in practice and we get into it in practice, and but I think that was the first time we played in a tournament in singles, and it was just it was weird. It was like, okay, this is a tournament. Like someone has to win. We have to play, and whatever. But yeah, I love playing racquetball with him and being able to be on the court and all that.
Talk about your era of juniors a little bit, because you're right there with in the Jose Rojas and Ismail Aldana, Bradley Kirsch, maybe Taylor Noth a little bit too. I'm not sure where your age is with him, but
he was the same age.
Okay, same age. You and Jose has a couple of pro stop victories before his retirement here. But you've kind of lasted the longest. You and Bobby Horn, who wasn't even a factor at that point, have stuck around for quite a while. Talk about the transition from junior racquetball through the collegiates into professional racquetball, and why it is that you've been able to be the one that's came out on top.
I mean, it's obviously a completely different world. It's like anything when you're growing up, you think you're good and whatever, and then you actually play good people or get into the real world, and it's like, okay, I don't know anything. I'm actually not that good or whatever. So that's a process. Going from juniors to collegiates, collegiates is, at least when I played, it was like the top junior players. So it's kind of the same thing, just a little less deep in the draw, I would say. But for me personally, it was like juniors, you always want to win. It was cool, whatever. Collegiates was just, I was more focused on school. I wanted to get my degree and be done. And then after, I was like, yeah, I'm not done with racquetball. I want to keep playing. So as far as, me sticking it out, it was the choice I made, a long time ago to be like, yeah, I want to play and see what I can do. And I've been, more than fortunate enough with what I've, been able to do with I would not even jobs, but what I've done on the side to be able to supplement it and just make it work to be able to play. And I get why a lot of players don't continue to go down this path. Completely understand, but it's something I wanted to do, and it still is. So that's why I'm still playing.
Yeah, we're happy that you are, because you're, speaking as a citizen of the United States of America, you're one of our top 2 players, and you have been in that position for quite a while. So, you're representing, a lot of us on the racquetball tour right now, and that's really important. Your younger buddy Jose Diaz, we were just mentioning him a little bit, was you guys have had a long run as doubles partners here.
Oh, I can't wait! I can't wait for this one, Jake. I know where he's going with this one. This is a good.
Honestly, at the beginning.
Time out. Can Ellie? Full disclosure: I've asked Jake to play doubles probably 4 or 5 times. He's given me the Heisman 4. One was like, So the Heisman, for people that don't know, is like, it's not happening. So I can't wait for this one. Bring it.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is I didn't see that one coming. You guys are a little different age, like 3 or 4 years apart. And, but as you started to play together, it made pretty good sense. It's kind of a David and Goliath kind of going with each other instead of against each other. And, your sense of humor is probably mixed pretty well. Diaz is quite a funny dude in his own way and has his own personality, but he's playing a ton of pickleball right now. He doesn't seem to be picking up the racquetball racket these days. So, and Sudsy knows this where it's come. So who's next on the horizon when it comes to USA racquetball?
Not
what
me,
are your options?
apparently.
Because Sam Murray's a Canadian who's not coming to play for the US anytime soon. So what do we got? What are we talking about here?
That kind of screws it up, because I like playing with him.
Go play for Canada. All the other countries play for whoever they want, whenever they want.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Just give me a passport real quick. No, I'd have a tough time doing that. But no, I mean, yeah, I know Diaz is a lot more focused on pickleball. I think he's playing a tournament in Arizona in February.
He is.
So, props to him and making the adjustment. I think it's a smart move. It's, that's where kind of the money is, and at least doubles is definitely easier on the body. But after Diaz, I mean, now you have Landa and Sudsy, and they're definitely a team now. But my brother is for sure the number 1 to play with for me, just because it's him, and he's got fairly decent backhand, so I think we'd do all right.
So that's the easy one though, Jake. I mean, we kind of knew that one was coming, and that makes a lot of sense, and maybe that's where you go with it. But let's say, he's just not available for that event. What other players out there from the US excite you? You're almost 30 here. You got some younger guys coming up now. Not a lot of guys older than you that are playing at that level on a right. That's about it. Maybe Charlie a little bit. But, so who else on the younger side of it is somebody that, could have a shot?
I mean, Adam's he's a good doubles player, and he's with me and him lefty righty, that'd be good. I know Tony Carson's a little bit older and doesn't play as much, but he's a phenomenal doubles player.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bitch for me. He was my most annoying player I had to deal with in that tournament.
He's tough to play on that left side.
True story.
He's a competitor. He's tough. He's tough. He's tough. He's strong for his size. He's tough, and he's not afraid. So that's everything you want in a partner is right there as well.
Yeah, exactly. No, I would definitely like to play with Tony if Sam's not available.
I don't know about those two though, Ellie. They need a little more balance. They need a little yin and yang. Tony, both of them are going to be running through the wall.
Yeah, maybe me and Tony on a emotional level is probably not a good call.
Or it could probably go one way or the other. I mean, it could be phenomenal too.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. That's a good point.
Dropping bombs, can't miss, off each other, or getting pissed at Scott reffing the match, doing a bad job.
Scotty doesn't ref USA national doubles.
But
I wish he did.
any ref is a Scott right now. For me, and
Oh,
we'll just call any ref Scott.
Scott is the leader. That
Scotty
is a good
Mack's the
point.
ref.
He's,
So
he is the leader. Scotty Mack is the universal name for. It's like saying a Coke. If it's Pepsi, if it's Coke, it's Coke. Scotty Mack.
if it's a ref, it's a Scotty Mack. So talk a little bit. Let's transition into a little bit about Minnesota racquetball, which is going to lead to some questions about USA racquetball in general. But Minnesota racquetball, what have you seen change over the years? Because Minnesota's been a hotbed of racquetball. For me, it's holds dear to my heart. It was my last junior nationals was in Burnsville, Minnesota. I went home with a victory in 18, so I'll never forget that location, that club, and some of those other Northwest clubs or something like that. They were called the Northwest clubs, or
North. I think they were Northeast before they were Lifetime.
Okay,
Was it Northwest?
Northwest. Yeah.
Northwest clubs.
Okay,
So
yeah.
they were beautiful big clubs that had a ton of great courts. I mean, just awesome venues. So talk a little bit about the changes you've seen for the good and the bad in Minnesota over the, let's say, last 10 years, last 10, 15 years.
Yeah. So like you said, they had a lot of great clubs. That Burnsville club's not there anymore. That was a great club. There was Highway 100, which was a phenomenal club. They had 2 awesome show courts. I mean, huge stadium seating. That's not there, so with corporate, businesses taking over racquetball, that's kind of in any of LA Fitnesses, but they don't allow kids under 14. So that kind of messes with junior programs. It's like anywhere, it's kind of moved to the older group. And that's kind of the way it is. But I would say, what was it? Obviously not this last year, but the year before, we had a pretty good year for Minnesota racquetball. A guy who was on the board did a lot of fundraising, and
Who's that,
we had small payout. Matt Miller.
Yep. Matt Miller definitely deserves.
Yeah, he did a phenomenal job doing fundraising and getting money and sponsors and kind of, pushing everyone forward. And so we had a really good year, I guess 2 years ago now, with, I think it was 6 or 7 tournaments, and each event paid out, for multiple divisions. We had year end awards kind of. And so, like the best or the person who had the most points in, say, the open division, I think it was either 1,000 or 1,500 for
Was it not
year
you?
end.
Was it not you?
No, I played two events that year, 2 or 3
So
events.
was it like Lee? Was it Lee or
I think it was
Mike?
Lee. I think it was Lee. He played all the events and did, semis or better at all of them. So so that was a great year. And it kind of had some buzz because people wanted to play for, year end, who's the best in this division, et cetera. There were a couple divisions where it came down to like the last match or two at the last tournament.
That's cool.
To see who was the best that year in that division. So, before COVID, we actually had decent momentum going. There's a couple guys, Brock Brew and Teddy Rolling, who do a pretty good junior program down kind of South Metro. Not like what you guys have in California or the high schools in Oregon, but you got to have.
No, but there's a good group of Minnesota players, and the other thing about the Minnesota juniors is they're very nice kids. When they're just really pleasant. Nice
What does that mean?
The
Stockton kids aren't good kids?
It's
you're talking
I
about
think
kids
they're
like DS Bobby. Like,
I mean,
it's questionable.
It's we got some edge at times, but I'll just say, I've been to the junior nationals now for quite a while, every year with my kids being involved and everything, and they're just nice people there from Minnesota that come. They're always talkative. They're not cliquey and just Minnesota, or they're involved with other states and getting to know people, and they're friendly guys and girls. They're friendly and they compete hard. And they're having fun. They don't look like they're miserable and putting too much pressure on everything going on there. They're trying.
Well,
to
guess
have a
what?
Good experience.
You know who led that charge is the guy we're talking to right here, Jake Bredenbeck. While we're doing this, I got a text, Ellie, from, one of the greatest people in the sport, Keith Miner, KWM Gutterman, who is also one of our sponsors, but a dear friend to all of us. And Jake, Keith says hello, says, love that guy, and he loves that family. So, yeah, Keith, we love you too, more than you know.
Yeah.
And, thank you for all you do, but we'll get back to that. But Keith says hello, Jake.
Did you ever get a chance to play Mike Locker?
Not when we were both even near the same level.
Certainly not. He's like 50 years old and you're 30 years old, almost 30. So of course
it was
not.
Probably something similar to like what I did with Sudsy, play, screw around as a junior.
Okay.
Wait, what? We just played last week. What are you talking about?
Dude, I turned off the video at 12-4 in the second game going, well, Jake and Sam are putting it on him, not to bring up a disappointing moment for a second there, but
Sam and I turned off the video at 12-4 too. So.
Yeah, apparently so. I woke up the next morning and go, they fucking won? What happened?
Ellie, can you get to some of your questions?
Yeah, I've been asking them.
Everybody wants to see those. No,
well,
I like go down to the second half, the funny ones.
We'll get
and let's
there.
just rapid fire those.
I know those are good, but I don't want to yet because I'm building towards that. And I'm curious, Jake's
he's getting all the serious stuff out.
Yeah, let's get the real shit first.
Hola, Conrado. Tio Conrado's on.
Jake's been on the U.S. national team for quite a while now, right, Jake? I mean, you've had some good runs here. You said 2015 for the Pan Am Games in Toronto. Presumably, maybe that wasn't your first one, so you had a year or two before that. So, you're looking at 8 to 10 year run here. Talk a little bit about your connection to USAR, the national team. How's the organization doing in your opinion? Not our opinion, but your opinion. The feeling of being on this new team. You got a new head coach. A little bit about your connection to the new head coach, Coach Jim Durham, who I know pretty well here in California. But just talk about USA Racquetball as it pertains to you and your career.
Yeah, it's as far as playing for USA, that's one thing. Is and that's obviously everyone knows I love that. That's one of the number one, if not the number one thing for me. As far as USA Racquetball, I get they're in a tough position, especially right now with what's going on. And they're trying to get membership back and stuff because that's their money driver. But I think a different model. I think racquetball needs a lot of different things. It's not just USA Racquetball. It's a fast sport. It's hard to watch if you don't know what's going on. So certain things like, and this would take testing to see what works and what doesn't, but one thing I think needs to for sure happen is rally scoring. You look at all the other racket sports, they all do rally scoring. Personally, I don't want to slow it down. Like you had said, how you grew up with like smaller rackets and then they adjusted to bigger. That's always a debate of like whatever. I took a smaller racket out, I don't know, 2 years ago and I hit with it just to see, because we have some old ones. It's slower, but it's not that much slower. Like I can still rip the ball pretty good. So, and I don't want to take away from the speed of it, because I think that's one of the most entertaining parts. But I think stuff like rally scoring would help. I know, squash does the white sidewall kind of with the blue ball, or is it blue sidewall with the white ball and the dark floor.
Yep,
something like that would help. I get it's going to take money and testing. I understand that, but if you want to try and essentially save the sport and give it some different options to be seen, stuff like that's going to happen. Murray and my brother and I were talking in Atlanta, and we think you may be going to an unfinished floor because Murray dives a lot, right? Well, every other point's a towel timeout, and that just kind of slows it down. Well, an unfinished floor, you don't have to do that. You're going to have to change the ball a little bit because the ball breaks all the time, and people are either going to have to wear bodysuits or just not dive as much because that hurts.
That'll be a rough landing right there on that unfinished floor.
It doesn't feel good, but
nope.
I'm just throwing out things that are possibilities to test out and see. I mean, we had a tournament in Calgary for the WRT with an unfinished floor, and it worked fine. The only thing was the ball broke a lot more than a finished floor, but it didn't play much different or anything. I think I think Cali, Columbia had unfinished floors, didn't they, for a while?
Mhm.
So I
Yeah,
mean, it
there's
works.
yeah, from a visual from optic standpoint, you know, I mean, and Jake, you met Shane DeWitt, you know, my business partner and friend. You know, he knows and he's been researching it. There's so many things that can be done, but I think Ellie was touching more on, you know, as
No,
far as
but yeah, and that was my point, is getting back to USA. I don't know. I think there needs to be new. I think there needs to be a change. I think there needs to be, it's always the same thing. Try and get into the Olympics. Try and, we got to do grassroots and this and that, and we got to collect memberships. And I don't know the full model of pickleball, but I don't think they charge $60 a year to be a member. You know, and they run how many events? It's more sponsor based. And again, I get it's easier to watch or whatever. And they have, it's kind of like outdoor racquetball. They have the benefit of having the event per se with, you can have music or more, you're outside, whatever. But, I look at what the WRT did, and I think the IRT and USA Racquetball can incorporate this with their events, is make it an event. Like the WRT used to have, and this is simple stuff and this is basic stuff, music between, games, music at timeouts. They had introductions for the players from quarters on at most of the tournaments. They had, I think Rafa was out in the crowd throwing headbands and balls and gloves and stuff. Like, you made it feel like more of an event. So that's little stuff that both USA and IRT could take. But what USA Racquetball can do, I don't know. I think there needs to be a shift in mindset. I think there needs to be different minds in there to try and adjust where racquetball is going and how they can grow the sport.
How do you feel about outdoor, as it pertains to that, or just in general, is outdoor have more potential at this stage than indoor? And let's talk, when we get past this COVID stage and clubs open back up and the courts are available again to reserve and play and have events, this outdoor feel and this movement that's been going around for a long time now, like 40 plus years, but now it feels so appropriate and so necessary. Your feelings on that?
Yeah, I mean, outdoor definitely has benefits. They have pros, especially for the spectator side, compared to indoor. You can have food out there. You can have music going pretty much all the time. You can have your cooler with beer. You can have, whatever. It's more of an event. It's more laid back. Outdoor courts are, free. You can put them up and it's outside, like, especially where, in California, nice weather, Rocky can play outdoor almost year round. Before Vegas, I flew out there to, just practice a little bit and get used to it. Like, it can be year round there. So that's a benefit that they have. But me being an indoor player, outdoor's fun. I like playing. I have fun playing outdoor, but it's just it's different. And given one of the two, I'm going to pick indoor all day long, to play and improve at. But outdoor, I think, definitely needs to be a part of. Outdoor is still racquetball, right? Like, it's not a great example, but you look at tennis, and they have the French Open, Wimbledon, and Australian, US are on different surfaces. So it's kind of, it's a weak connection, but it's a connection where you can kind of have those things. I mean, you look at Rocky, he's to me one of the best players all around in racquetball ever, because he played, indoor at a high level, international, and outdoor, right? So it 100% needs to be a part of the, USA racquetball and the growth of the sport, because of the access, especially for kids. Like, it's free. You don't need to have a membership. You can get kids there for free. So that's a huge thing.
On the professional side, should there be ranking events that are played outdoor, that are, whether it's singles, doubles, or both, tier 1 style events that can be pulled off outside?
I'd be totally fine with that. I think to start, you would have to have separate ranking systems, because you have, someone like Solstray, who's, I mean, he can play indoor, good indoor player, not going to come and win an indoor pro event.
No.
but phenomenal outdoor player. I mean,
Hmm.
phenomenal, right?
Right.
So I think a different ranking system would be needed, especially to start, but 100% think it'd be awesome to have that be a part of it. And I think that's something that could, kind of get interest in racquetball again, especially with, still clubs being closed and stuff. You have some outdoor events. If the money's there and whatever, people are going to go play. I mean, Kane was in Vegas. I was in Vegas. Bobby was in, you had a bunch of top indoor players playing there. So we all want to play racquetball. Like,
That's the key too. And when you add the Central and South American players that seem to be able to find their time on the outdoor courts as well, and have a nice flow to that style of racquetball. To me, it makes a lot of sense. I'd like to see it, whether it's a separate ranking or just involved. If there's enough events, you can involve it in the rankings. And maybe the favorites in indoor aren't always going to be the ones who are the favorites in outdoor, and that's kind of what you see in
I
tennis.
disagree. I disagree.
You disagree that, but
Favorites in indoor are always the favorites in outdoor.
well, that
I mean,
will
look
that
at-
will happen as more events happen, right? Like Federer became a better clay court player.
No, but we're talking racquetball.
I understand.
We
I
spoke about
understand.
Kane and Ben and Alvy and Daniel and I mean, the best indoor players go outside. And no disrespect, outdoor, we love you. We spoke about this in Vegas, but this is what Jake does for a living, Ellie. So when he goes outdoor, he should beat a lot of those outdoor players. You know what I mean? So
I think
I'm going to be the
I-
first to back the indoor guys and go, no, they should be the favorites and better be.
I agree in a sense. I think it just takes a little bit of time and adjustment.
Right.
Once indoor players get adjusted to bounces, how the ball moves, like there's some different angles that you can hit. I 100% agree, but it's that adjustment period. It takes me a couple games to adjust to
Games.
that outdoor style of play.
Game. And my buddy Alejandro Barcelo just commented. I love that guy. What's up, Alejandro? He said no Sudsy. So yeah, like for example, as an example, Alejandro and I, Barcelo, we spoke in Vegas the day after he played Kane at night. We spoke about this last show, and we were in Starbucks and we were online. And he said, yeah, he goes, I've never seen anything like that. He said, I've never seen any ball leave a racket and hit a ball like that off the front wall. I said, yeah, but this is what these guys do for a living. So no, I'm always going to say that the best indoor players in the world are going to go outdoor, and they will, or they should at least, come out near on top.
That seems to be the case currently right now, but I think Jake has a point there. It takes an adjustment period, and some of the it's a small handful of guys right now that are the indoor studs that are and gals that are coming out and being the dominant players in the outdoor doubles game. We didn't see singles at this past Vegas, but it's not the whole tour. It's not the top 16 ranked guys that can go out there and defeat some outdoor only
Correct.
players
Yeah.
that are really, really good. Just in the outdoor aren't quite as good on the indoor, maybe more of a low open player or even a high elite player in the indoor scene. So, there's some adjustment period, but the guys who have played it, except for Kane, and now Kane's a little bit involved in the outdoor, they've made that adjustment over the last years. And Jake, your game seems like it would, be tailor-made for the outdoor game. So, from that personal perspective and watching you play, I certainly hope there's more outdoor events, because I think you would be one of the stars of the outdoor racquetball scene, and very watchable every single time, just like you are indoor. So let's transition over to doubles. The same thing.
Let's not talk about what happened in Vegas with him and his partner, because that wasn't right either. but anyway, yeah.
Oh
That's-
shit! You just brought
Yeah,
that up.
that's
I didn't remember that.
That was just not.
Damn, that was a
Listen,
good first round win.
Jake was balling. Those guys could have done some
Damn,
damage.
that was a good
and-
first round win too.
Yeah, I was even there to watch that match. And I see Jake. I'm like, "Where's your partner?" And he gives me the look like, "Don't even ask." And
Well, yeah,
Unfortunate.
Pineda didn't make any new friends on that one that didn't know him already, but all of the people that know him already and know him well enough, you kind of understand a little bit. You feel
wish him the best. Hope he's doing. Hope he's doing well.
for him in that situation, and he's a very fun guy to know and to talk to. I've had a lot of fun conversations with the guy. I like him a lot. So
yeah, I love Pineda, and stuff happens. It's the way it goes. But I have no hard feelings, and we're good. It just in the moment, obviously, it's upsetting, but you move on, and he's good, so we're good.
Yep. So talk about
Ellie,
just
no. I'm stopping you. Get to
No.
your funny list of questions.
Well,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is going to lead towards
No,
it because
get to those.
you got to just be patient, Sudsy. You
Yeah,
know,
but Scotty
That's
Mac's
he,
gonna be
he doesn't have
he's gonna
that.
be kicking us off soon.
Scotty can go get a bowl of chili and just relax for a second. You know, doubles has become the highlight thing at the U.S. Open, and it's, you know, that
Yeah.
rivalry, whether it's Ben and Kane versus Alvaro and De La Rosa. Now you got you and anybody that you're playing with is always kind of in the mix, and now you got Sudsy and Londa, and there's other teams that are solid too. You know, should there be more doubles on the tour? And what about mixed doubles as well? I mean, that's something I'm craving to see, is more mixed doubles where, you know, you're kind of taking the gloves off and saying, ladies, you know, step up to the plate here and let's get some gnarly doubles going in the mixed side of it. You know, your feelings on that?
Yeah, doubles for sure. Doubles is fun. I love doubles. I mean, I love singles too, right? Like, because that's all on me. There's no, you know, if I lose, well, you know, either he was better or I screwed up. Like, that's just the way it is. But doubles is, I love doubles. I think it's definitely more entertaining. Going back to the outdoor, if you did go down that road, I would say singles is kind of, to me personally, outdoor singles is, I hate it. I don't like outdoor singles. Like, I don't care for it. Doubles, absolutely love. Indoor, you know, it's entertaining because there's, you know, more gets, the rallies seem to be a little longer, etc. You know, you got 4 guys in there, so it gets close sometimes, or girls, whatever. It gets, you know, you get more close, whatever. So yeah, I think, I mean, I think all of us would love doubles, you know, to be more a part of the tour, but it just, again, it comes down to money. Like, it just, and if they're choosing one or the other, most sponsors or the IRT, whatever, choose singles because that's the product right now. You know, but I would love if doubles was at every event but you got to have more money, because right now they pay to just the semis, and you still have, you know, 16 teams at a lot of events, or 14 teams, and, you know, most of them are really good teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's difficult. Mixed, I love playing mixed. Mixed is fun. Like, it's cool, especially when both the women are good and can handle. And I'm not disrespecting the women. Like, it's just, it's a lot to handle the power, right? Like, it's
I'm just too much to handle, is what you're saying.
No, but that leads into your question, Ellie.
Yes,
one of my
it is.
favorites.
Thank you. Sudsy, now we can start the fun questions, because
let's go.
The first part of the fun question is like, what 3 girls come to mind for you? And don't, you know, Paola's easy, maybe Samantha, because she might knock somebody out. But, you know, who would you connect with? What 3 girls would be on your top 3 list to connect with to play mixed doubles? If there was, you know, 8 mixed doubles tournaments in a season and you could make some money doing it.
Yeah. Monte is really good. She's a phenomenal doubles player. We actually played in
some size
Denver at that, when they had that one. She's a phenomenal double. I mean, they're all good doubles players, so that's tough. Maria Jose is really good. You know, I would like playing with her just because of the fact that she shoots literally everything, and it would kind of be like, well, if we're both on, cool, and if we're both off, well, whatever. Like, that's the way it goes.
Right.
They're both
two.
good.
He needs more balance.
Yeah.
And let's say the last one has to be
a female. I need a female Diaz.
Let's see. Well,
he can put a skirt on. I mean,
he can. Back in the day with the hair too, it would have been perfect.
Yeah.
You know, let's say the last one has to be a U.S. girl.
Who do we have? We have Rhonda, Cheryl, Amy,
Cheryl,
but Kalani.
Which Cheryl?
Lots.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure if you were going to go with Cadenas over Lots.
Ooh, you got Cadenas.
No. No.
I'm not sure about that, actually.
Erica.
Oh, yeah.
Probably
play. I mean, Janelle. I'd probably go with Amy right now, just because she can play the left side, like
very well
like
too.
Right side, so
And I'm
Yeah.
sure she would go with you as well. That's could be a new team we could see in the future.
It's a
I would
squad.
put my stamp of approval on that for sure. Not that you need it, but favorite city to play in and why?
In the US or anywhere?
You know, anywhere right now. And these aren't even the fun questions. This is the last normal question, and then we get into what I've titled fun questions.
I'm gonna have to get a beer for those ones.
Yeah,
I might have
Good.
to too. And I'm just going to
Okay.
listen to you speak.
I'll have to get a beer for those. No, recently I would say Cochabamba, only because when we were there for the IRT, it, it it felt like we were an actual sport. You know,
you were
like they had,
stars.
yeah, like they set it up, like they treated us very well. Um, you know, they had, especially when Bolivia was playing, but even when they weren't, but more so when Bolivia was playing, they had hundreds of people in the stands and they were cheering and like they're intense about it. You know, it was really cool to see. And the guy who put the tournament on, he had an awesome like dinner and party on Saturday night. Like it was a very cool event.
You felt
So
like a
it's
professional athlete.
exactly. So as far as I guess an event goes, I won't say the city, but as far as an event goes, that's one of my favorites.
That's a great choice because it is a great place to play at. You feel just awesome and special when you're down there and the opportunity to perform in front of them. And they're very friendly. I mean, it's my favorite country to go play racquetball in outside of the United States. And it has been for some time. So I'm glad you said
Yeah.
that one. Okay. So let's get to fun questions here. And I'm just going to kind of go down. I just trying to put some fun stuff together. Nothing too racquetball related the whole time or anything, a couple in there, but all right. So if you had to fight one guy in the UFC, who would you choose and why?
These are quick fire. You don't get a long explanation. You gotta
Got
just
something
run through.
good. Unless you got a good ass answer for us.
I mean, they're professional fighters. I want to fight like a 135-pound dude, and I still probably get my butt kicked. So, like,
I don't think so. I don't think
No,
so.
I
I'm
like
sure
your
you can
chances.
scrap. I like your chances too. You said you're 6'2", 215. I don't like those guys who were fighting last night. Yeah, maybe they might clock you a couple times, but they are 155.
that's what they do. I mean, it's like, okay, come and play racquetball.
No,
Forfeit the
Ellie,
beer
I'm
to
sorry. I got to jump in
0.
here. Dustin Poirier and Connor are not.
Hey,
gonna
they're
be friends.
5'8", 156.
Doesn't
They
matter.
walk around at 170, 175.
You walk
Yeah.
around at 215. I mean, there's some.
So-
I'm on your side, but I'm okay. So just the answer. Who would it be? I mean, you're not
Jake,
gonna fight.
he's
answer.
not a big UFC fan. So
No, I am. I watch it all. A lot. I love watching.
Then you know it's not even close. These guys did.
It's not a matter whether he'll win or not. Who would you want to
It's
fight?
not-
I didn't say whose
Like-
ass you would want to kick the most because you probably wouldn't. But who would you want to fight because it would just be a thrill?
Probably Connor, just because he's so entertaining. I mean, I know he just lost last night, but he's entertaining, right?
Absolutely.
Like, it would be a show. So, I mean, but he
Okay.
walks around at 175 pounds. So I'm going to say no thanks on that.
Well, probably so, but it would be fun. That's a good answer. Next question is, would you rather take batting practice at the Twin Stadium or have a skate on the Wild Rink?
Do I get to play hockey?
Yeah, you got to have a skate on that. Yep. Not just skate
Yeah.
around like a figure skater.
No. All right. Yeah.
You
Wild.
gotta- yeah. Have you played hockey growing up? Did you play some hockey?
No, that's the one sport growing up I really wish I would have played. I played
Did-
pond hockey and messed around, but I like hockey.
So
I
you're
love-
decent on
I
the
love
skates
hockey.
then. I mean, you're skating around nice and looking pretty good.
I can skate. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can. I
Yeah.
can. I can.
No, I can skate. Yeah, I can skate.
That's something that you have to know how to do when you're in Minnesota, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's like a requirement to live here.
This one. I don't know if I should have typed this one out, but
Which one is it? I love it.
The
Go
third
for it.
one.
I love them all.
all right. The way I'm going to just read it the way I have it typed because I shouldn't have did this. But who would be the perfect racquetball mother of a baby beast maid, of a baby
That's
Viking?
That's fantastic. Jake, come on, you can't run from that. That's a good one. Listen, maybe we're setting up your future wife here. This is a big question. You know, who
I'm not answering this one.
you got to answer it. I mean,
No,
listen,
I'm not answering this one.
You sure?
come on.
No.
Just can't get one
Bro,
little name out of you.
this is a horrible. No.
Yeah, I was typing it going, I don't know if he'll answer this, but this is fun. All
No.
right, we'll get back to that one in a little bit. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe he'll
Actually,
decide.
if you actually let me go get my beer, maybe I'll answer it after that.
Take a couple shots while you're at it too, so it
Yeah.
can
Oh,
accelerate that.
he'll answer it.
All right, this one sucks. This question
All
sucks.
right, wait. Can you just promise us one thing? If you don't answer it live, you'll at least text it to me so I can tell Ellie.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's fair.
All right.
That's fair.
Deal.
This question kind of sucks. I don't even know why I have it here, but what politician, if any, do you respect the most and why?
Oh, great. Here we go. Politician. I don't like politicians.
Next question. There's too many politicians in politics.
Like, I could go so many different ways with this. Like
I feel like you want to answer it a little bit, but it's also going to take a little time here.
Yeah, this one would take time because I mean, this is not like a easy question to answer, especially with everything going on nowadays.
Don't hurt anybody's feelings.
No matter how I answer, somebody's going to be
Gotta be
pissed, which
somebody.
I don't care. I don't care about, but it's just I genuinely dislike politicians. Like, I think there's a lot of things that need to change within the government.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's
Can we just say hi to Marty Cruz Ortiz? She just texted me. She goes, "I'm just laughing so hard right now watching the show." So let's keep it up, and we're doing a good job, Ellie.
all right. Move on to that one, and if you feel like coming back to that one along with who you're,
if you want me to answer who I truly respect, I think like as much as people hate him, Trump, he stood for a lot of things that people, within the states like. Is he perfect? Absolutely not, whatever. But I think at least, he stood for a lot of things that people within the country like. A lot of people don't like him. That's fine. I would say someone that I respect though the most right now is
Jesse the Body Ventura. He was a governor of Minnesota.
Yeah.
And he was a WWE wrestler.
Is Rand Paul. I mean, he's more libertarian and whatever, but he seems to be, and it's based off the research that I've done, more just he tries to base things off of the Constitution, and he's standing up for that. So, and I think that's the most important thing.
Ellie, I thought this wasn't a political show. How
Here's
did
the next
that question
question.
sneak in? Yeah, let's go to.
like I said, this question.
No, Jake, it's not your fault.
It was a good answer. The answer was better than the question. So that everyone's on this.
We're all going to need another beverage here soon.
There's a lot of people who haven't had the opportunity to talk to you are probably watching this right now and or talk to you deeply and are interested in your opinions and what and your answers in general.
Outside of racquetball.
This next one's a lot different. It's not about politics. It's give us your all-time, and I don't know if you follow basketball. I don't know if you're an NBA guy or not, but give us your all-time NBA starting lineup. Anybody who's ever played.
Oh man.
Because you're still young, but you're not young anymore. So
yeah, I don't know enough about the old guys like Kareem and them as most people my age do, who aren't like fully into basketball, which I'm not. I know he's great. Russell, they're probably top big guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
that's too good start. That's good. That's a good start, right there.
Jordan's obviously got to be in there.
That's 3. It's a good lineup so far.
I don't like him, but LeBron's a phenomenal player.
That's 4.
Trying to think.
I'll say right now, this team that you're putting together here would be put up against any team that's ever been, any other team that's ever been.
We'll throw Kobe in there. I forgot about Shaq being a big man, so whatever.
Yep. Shaq's a monster, and he's.
I was hoping you were going to say Kobe, Jake.
Yeah.
I got Kobe in my top 2.
I mean, that's a hell of a lineup for somebody who's not a big basketball guy. So you do follow it. We know that you're an athlete, so you follow that. Same thing on the NFL side of it. With a little different though. One QB. Who would your all-time QB be?
I mean, you feel like you got to go with Brady.
You got to go with Brady. All right.
How can you not?
The two running
Yeah.
backs. Who are your two running backs?
Probably Barry Sanders.
Ooh, I like that. 7 years in the NFL, arguably the best ever.
And just for fun, because I know he hit people hard, Bo Jackson.
Hell yeah, he's one of the best
I
of
like
all time
that.
for sure. Good lineups so far.
Just because they're
One of my favorite
run people over.
athletes of all time.
Your two
Yeah,
wide
Ellie,
receivers.
Ellie, can we get back to who's the perfect beast made mom? Maybe he's ready for that one.
You know.
No, I didn't go get
All
another.
right.
I haven't left the camera. I didn't go.
All right,
get
well,
another-
Ellie, we could rephrase it, right? We could say not who would be the best to nurture and take care of a beast made baby. That's a little different. It's a little
That
different.
doesn't help. That doesn't help me answering it. So.
All right, keep going on the NFL thing because you know everyone's curious right now. We're in the Super Bowl's coming up here. Receivers, two receivers.
I'll go with Moss just because he was,
have to.
you know, Viking for a long time. You know,
I'm
in for
grew up
that
watching
one.
him.
You have to.
Like, I have to go with Moss.
Yep. Agreed.
And man, I don't know. I kind of want to go with Gronk just because he's big and.
Well, that's the tight end. That's
Yeah,
that's
I know, but like.
Well, that was my next
Okay,
next and
okay.
last position
I'll
was
go-
tight end.
Yeah, okay. Gronk for tight end.
Right.
Another receiver. I'm just gonna go both Vikings. I'm gonna go Carter just for fun. Like
It's a good-
they wouldn't truly be my two, but they're Vikings, so why not?
Pretty good. Jerry Rice might be in there, but Carter's. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. There's plenty others, but just
I go Rice and Moss. I hung out with Carter a bunch, by the way, down in Boca.
you want to tell us some stories about that, or you good there?
I'll tell a quick one. Yeah, I was playing squash with Jeff Conine, and we were at the Boca Athletic Club, and just so happened we both needed the bathroom at the same time. Jake's going to get a beer, so you can ask him about the baby Viking mom.
No. That's
So
not coming.
so Ellie, so Conine and I go into the bathroom, and you know, flush. We all come out. We're washing our hands. I look over to my left. There's Jeff Conine. I look to my right. There's Chris Carter, and I go, this is a pretty impressive hand washing group right here. And Carter was just like, true story. But anyway, go.
That's great. All right, we're moving on here, Jake. You know what is your perfect last meal?
Ooh,
Ah,
an entire buffalo
yeah. Whole
that
thing.
he has to skin and gut.
Yeah. Start with the heart, raw.
Honestly, man. God, you put buffalo in my head. That's good. I do love it. I do. Yeah, I'd probably go with something like that. I love sushi. Man, I love food. I there's not much food I dislike. So probably go with that bison burger. Sounds good. Some sushi. Definitely like a good bottle of whiskey or two. Couple beers and some of my mom's homemade monster cookies to cap it off, and it'd be done.
Nice.
Good to go.
That's quite a meal.
I was
That's
just gonna
quite a
say,
meal.
If it's the last one,
you'd go a
Yeah,
happy
you wa-
human. You'd
You
go a
want to
happy
go out?
human.
Yeah, you want to go out. You know, having issues with the belly after that.
exactly.
All right, choose one sport to play professionally out of this list. Which one is it and why? Pickleball.
Okay.
Pickleball. Show wrestling because I couldn't remember any of the WWE, or I didn't want to
Yep.
call it the wrong way. WWF back when we were young. Cornhole, or cricket. Which of those and why?
Probably.
Those are the worst possible choices. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Jake. Ellie
Yeah.
wrote these on his own. You know, we don't go over
No,
these,
that's
so
okay. That's okay.
No, these are good questions. 'Cause I want
Okay,
you to say show.
I have two kind of answers. Cornhole, just because I can have a beer in the other hand while I play. But I mean,
It's a
the
requirement.
most
I think.
logical, yeah, the most logical is to go to pickleball. I mean,
Well,
that'd
see,
be
I was
the
kind
other
of
one.
hoping you would say like WWF. I would be WWF. I would be a fucking
Yeah.
Viking, and you know, I maybe would do a cycle or two and get ready for the shows and throw some people around and do that. I think you'd be phenomenal at that as well. If you're only allowed to watch 3 movies for the rest of your life, what are the 3?
Oh, come on, man. Deadpool, because I
Nice.
think it's hilarious and
Yeah,
entertaining.
sure is.
I gotta throw a Christmas movie in there just because I love, Thanksgiving, Christmas time. So Christmas Vacation, probably.
Yep.
And I like cars and stuff, so I gotta go with the first Fast and Furious just because of that.
Not Tokyo Drift, because that's my
No,
favorite. Shit.
no.
All right, that's the 3 movies. Okay, if you could play any one movie character, and you do a good job, you could play one movie character that already exists. Who would it be?
Excluding Paul Bunyan.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, just because the movie's in my mind, something like a Deadpool would be fun, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. That can be the answer.
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
That's
that is a tough one to play a character. Like, what character
Yeah,
would
like
you
because
be able
there's
to
so
do?
many that it's like if you could, like this would be like for me,
Veronica
like
just Veronica just messaged and said the Hulk.
Thor.
Thor. There you
Thor
go.
would be a good one. as
Thor.
well.
That's perfect. Actually.
Thor. There we go. Thor.
All right, last question here. If you could play a racquetball match in one location anywhere in the world with a guaranteed purse of whatever makes you happy, people watching, 5,000 people watching, you're just the ultimate situation. Where would you put that portable court?
I mean, for me personally, it would be somewhere in Minnesota, like the Mall of America or something like that, just because that's home,
Yep.
For spectators, it'd be, I don't know, so like even on the strip, but like on the strip somewhere or somewhere on a beach or something like that, as far as spectators go. But for me personally, like winning an event like that, it would be, something like I said, Mall of America, because it's here.
Mall of America is a great choice. It's one that probably we've all 3 of us have thought about for sure. When I'm walking around Mall of America, the couple times I've been there, I'm visualizing that same thing. Like, gosh, this seems like this could be possible if the right people work on it, whoever those right people are. But maybe that's something that you'll pursue. My last question for you on a real note is like, what do you want to, where do you see racquetball going for you as you get older, when you're getting near your 40s, your 50s, and how much involvement do you want in racquetball in the future? Or do you see yourself as a coach, as a mentor, involved in some way on a business side of it? What's racquetball like for you in 10, 15, 20 years?
Yeah, I think I'll always be involved somehow. At what capacity, I don't, I don't know. It depends on, how these other businesses go, and if that just unfortunately would take a lot more time or whatever. But I definitely always want to be involved. I'd like to coach and be a part of juniors coming up and stuff like that, and being involved in that. I it's hard to do while you're playing because your focus is so much on the playing side. Like I'm on the board in Minnesota and I love it. I love being a part of that, but it's just difficult when your focus is on playing.
Right.
So it's hard to be like, all right, I gotta think about this, that, and the other thing, while I'm playing. But yeah, I'd love to continue to be on the board here and maybe someday be on USA Racquetball board, or just be involved in the hopeful growth of the sport somehow.
Yeah, well, hearing that, hopefully that is a part of your life in the future down the line, because it's rewarding in its own way. It's different than being a player. Certainly, and Sudsy and I are, Sudsy's still playing good racquetball, could play the tour and that stuff, but is choosing to be involved in multiple capacities. And for me, the playing part of it's not that important more, but the promotional part of it and trying to grow new players and get new rackets in a new player's hand it's rewarding in its own way. And you're that personality, Jake, that would, people would lead and gravitate towards your leadership in that manner. So I hope you are involved in the sport for quite a lot of years, and it's been fun chatting with you and asking you some of these questions.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Jake, thank you. It's been awesome, and I just want to pass along, what I didn't realize was such a compliment. When I was younger, and Ellie, I know you remember James Lorello, and I know that many people, watching right now, and people that'll see James Lorello, Jake, if you don't know, was a great racquetball player out of South Florida. I mean, he's still alive. I'm saying he played racquetball, and he was just a great guy. And I remember one day I was golfing with him down in South Florida, and he put his arm around me, and he looked at me straight in the eyes, and he goes, "Sudsy, I just want to tell you, your parents did a great job with you. And every time I get to talk to you, every time we're together, I know your parents, and I'll say it again, they did a fantastic job with you and Sam, and you guys are both, great humans, great individuals. I know that comes from mom and dad, and it's great to have you in the sport, and hope that you guys never leave. So, thanks for being here tonight. Say hello to mom and dad if they're not watching, and
I'm sure they're
we appreciate it.
watching.
It's always fun, and we'll probably have you back again some other time soon. But for now, it's time to let you go. Ellie and I are going to close out the show. Jake, I'll see you later. I'll text you in about 7 minutes. So make sure you text us. Text me immediately. I want to know what that answer is, and I promise I won't disclose it on the air. All right, I have a good idea, but I'm not going to say it. So Jake, have a great night. Hello to Sam. Hello to the Bredenbecks, Minnesota Racquetball. We love you. We'll see you later, Jake. Thank you. We're going to kick you out, and Ellie and I are going to close out.
Thanks, Jake. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Ellie, there you have it. I mean, that is probably my favorite human being in racquetball, and that's active human racquetball player that plays. And there's a lot. I mean, Alex is like a brother to me now, but just a genuinely amazing person. I know his parents, they did such an amazing job with him and Sam. He's super humble, super competitive, super respectful, and really just a good role model for anybody that, loves racquetball and wants to be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a lot of fun to talk to as well. I don't know him very, very well, but I've had a couple moments here in Stockton with him, and he's got a lot of talent too. That's the other thing about him, is that it's been nice to see his talent come after. I didn't notice him early in juniors, and I was there watching some of the Stockton kids, and then as he got to 17, 18, it was like, wow, this guy's really talented, and no surprise that he has multiple national championships, that he's the second highest ranked U.S. player right now in the game, and has been for a little while. And I just wish him the best, and we'll see how long he's around the sport. Hopefully we look back in 15, 20 years, and Jake's been a part of the sport the whole time. And we knew we were going to do this interview. I'm sure we could get some really funny stories going that with this era of individuals and guys and gals who are on tour. But we only have a certain amount of time, and it was fun to get him on the show and have him answer some of our questions.
Yeah, good stuff, Ellie. I appreciate all that prep you did in the questions. To my sister, everybody watching, go check out her, her initiative and what she's looking to do with just being healthy, and logging that, and getting all of us involved. Our team is We Are Racquetball. I know Scotty put up the link, so check that out. And Jake, Ellie, I give Jake the open door. I would love to work with that guy, and try to maximize his abilities to be the best he can possibly be, because I do believe he's got another level or two at least in there.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a quick sec before we go, Suds, because I think that's kind of one of the things about Jake, that, there's all the talent in the world, but if the ball's coming off the back wall, it doesn't matter how hard it's coming. If it's coming too much off the back wall, then your opponents are going to have setup. So what would you do as a coach instructor? Where would you like to see him make some little changes to improve in his opportunities to win pro stops?
Yeah, it's funny. I spoke about that with Veronica, and the truth is, and we both touched on it, but when people are wired a certain way, our personalities and our actions and reactions are going to transfer onto the court, and we're going to play that way. So what you see Jake on the court is very much what he would be like off the court in competition, or doing whatever he may be doing at the time in the heat of the moment. But, the first thing I would do, Ellie, is I would change the way he trains off the court. I would really, really focus on slowing him down on so many levels, almost to a point of boredom, and teach him that I don't need you to hit the ball 200 miles per hour every time. I just need you to hit it 200 miles per hour when you have to. And, I think that a lot of that would be his off court training. Everybody sees, if you follow Jake on his Instagram or if you follow him on social media, he really is working out like Drago, or I'm sorry, like Rocky in Rocky 4, in Russia. And I would just change that approach. And you're not going to change his will. I don't want to change his will. He's phenomenal. His talent's amazing. I truly believe he could be one of the best players in the world, which he already is, but even at a higher level. And I would change the way he trains and drills and practices off court. And what I would do is try to just kind of remold and recondition his mind, change his approach a little bit, change his vision a little bit. But I certainly wouldn't take away any of the incredible physical talent he possesses, and his mental strength is huge too. But I would kind of trick him into doing things that he might not think about wanting to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it is. And having been on the court with him a little bit in that kind of atmosphere, I think that key word that you just said, trick him, is maybe necessary, because he is strong-willed. He does have these default power, shots that he'll go to almost every single time. And, so you might have to trick him into understanding and seeing the ways of a pass shot that doesn't come off the back wall, of a rollout that isn't Mach 9, that has a little less pace on it, but is still hit very low. And getting down low for those balls, and not feeling like you just have to absolutely obliterate every single shot. And so all the talent in the world's there, but, and I think he's trying to understand that right now and trying to make those changes just by the way he's talking. But, it's tough to do on your own if you don't have guidance in that process. And you went through it as a junior coming into a professional game. I went through it as well, several years into my career as a professional. Jason Menino taught us a lot about how to win without power and doing the normal back in the 90s and into the early 2000s. And I took a lot from how Jason was going about it in my game and tried to apply that as well. And so I think for Jake, kind of studying some of the players from the past, even before us, through our era, would be good as well, and try and take little pieces. But you're right, you might have to trick him into some of that type of stuff. I think that's a good word to use.
Jake, if you're still listening, the door's open, brother. Just shoot me a text. With that, Ellie and I, Scotty Mack, we're going to go. Scotty, thank you for your patience back there.
Thanks, Scotty, buddy.
We're running 2-hour shows, and we're going to talk about it. And the team, we're going to kind of reassess and see. Let us know, though. We're touching on 2 hours a lot of times. We definitely think and believe we should shorten them, no matter how good they are. Ellie and I get caught up. We have such a good time with such amazing, players and guests that we have. And of course, we see you, the fans, the players, the interaction. It's awesome. We love it. So it keeps us going, but we're going to try to cut it down a little bit. Definitely won't take anything away from the show, but maybe just shorten the time a little bit. Thank you so much, KWM, Gutterman, Keith Miner. You do so much, not only for me, for us, for the sport, but, a lot of the stuff that happens does not happen without you. And I said it loud and clear. I would not have been in Atlanta. So thank you for that. You were very much part of that championship as me and Alex winning that. So thank you. We appreciate that. Ellie and I, Scotty Mack, we're always looking for sponsors. Anybody that wants to be part of the show, anybody that wants to be recognized, anybody that wants to be part of the Beyond the Court team or the John Ellis, Scotty Mack, Sudsy Monchik team, let us know. We could definitely make it happen. We're going to see you next Sunday night, 8:00 Eastern. It will be episode number 28, Ellie. We are on episode 28. And we're really looking forward to it. We will finalize our guest here in the next few days, and we will let you know. So everybody have a great week. Be inspired, be motivated, stay smart, be healthy, and we'll see you soon, all right? Next week, episode 28, Beyond the Court. Thanks for joining us. Share the feed. See you later.